when the CDC released updated COVID protocols last Thursday afternoon that are significantly less restrictive than anything we have seen in 14 months. My first reaction was joy, hope, and excitement for the new day that is coming. My second reaction was worry and fear. Are we really ready for a full-blown re-entry into our old lives? Is it really wise and prudent at this time to make changes to safety protocol at Trinity based upon the assumption that everyone has been vaccinated, when we know, in fact, that not everyone has been vaccinated, that not everyone is comfortable being vaccinated, that children under 12 still do not have access to the vaccine and likely won't have access until the fall? When we know that immunocompromised individuals who have been vaccinated are still at risk of becoming very ill from COVID, when there are beloved children of God in our congregation whose immune systems are compromised. One of the most dreadful ideas I have heard as congregations return to more normal worship experiences is the notion of having two services, one for the vaccinated, one for the unvaccinated, or one that requires masks and one that does not. We might as well divide the services based on political ideologies, a progressive service at one time and a conservative service at another time. We are absolutely not doing this. As if the church and the world are not divided enough as it is, do we really want to further divide and segregate our congregation? Is it our desire to make people feel less than because of their health history, their personal decisions, their political leanings, or their access to the vaccine? Kevin Strickland, Bishop of the Southeastern Synod, wisely posted, "Just because the CDC says we can does not mean that we should." If Trinity were to loosen mask requirements for worship and indoor activities, we would prevent folks in our community of faith who are still practicing care and caution from being present with us. If there is one person in our congregation who wants to return to in-person worship but is not safe doing so if masks are not required, would we not be willing to wear masks for the safety of that one person? Of course we would. That's how Christian community works. And it's not that big a deal to wear a mask for an hour in worship if it could save somebody's life. As Trinity's transition team makes decisions about these important issues, these decisions will be based on what is best for everyone in the congregation, not what is desirable for any small group of people within the congregation. We are a congregation that has made bold, brave decisions in the past several years to become a more diverse and inclusive congregation. We are learning to practice radical hospitality, to create a safe space of love and belonging for all people. That vision most definitely applies to the decisions our transition team is making about protocols for returning to in-person worship. The transition team is striving to make decisions that make Trinity a place of welcome, inclusion, grace, love, and affirmation for all people. We also know that post-pandemic return to normal anxiety is a real thing that can be alleviated with a gradual rather than abrupt increase in activities and exposures. So what would need to happen for the transition team to determine that it is safe and prudent to lift the mask requirement at Trinity? Medical experts have shared that it is likely that when 70% of the population has been vaccinated, we will be approaching herd immunity, which would mean that we might then be able to dispense with the mask requirement. However, you should know that there are some people who will continue to wear masks, especially during flu season. Neither can we nor should we forget the toll that the coronavirus has taken on our lives over these past 14 months, especially here at Trinity, where 4 of our beloved members have died from COVID. We will likely choose to live our lives in different ways due to the things we have learned about health, safety, and the spread of this disease in the past year. So what decisions has the transition team made about a safe return to worship in light of the new CDC guidelines? The Trinity Transition Team at its meeting on Friday, May 14th, reviewed the recent update in CDC guidelines for vaccinated individuals, as well as feedback from members of the congregation, and agreed to increase the capacity at worship in the sanctuary from 50 to 75, beginning on Sunday, May 23rd. On May 23rd, the nursery will also reopen following CDC guidelines for daycare centers. Due to the large number of individuals who will be attending worship who are unvaccinated, including children under 12, and immunocompromised individuals who are not fully protected from COVID even after vaccination, masks will continue to be required during worship. Beginning on May 23rd, the service will increase in length, moving closer to a full hour of worship, and will include singing. The online service will continue to be an option for worship for those who prefer this alternative. My siblings in Christ, through our decisions and actions in returning to worship, we as a congregation will continue to stand with the marginalized. We will continue to strive to be a congregation that loves, honors, values, affirms, welcomes, and celebrates all people. I ask for your prayers for me, for our staff team, for the transition team, for the congregation council, and for every person connected to our life together at Trinity, that we might practice patience, understanding, and love, lots of love, as we move into the beautiful future God is preparing for us.